The people have spoken. Thank you for your comment, by the way. But if we want the spoilers, we'll get into the spoilers. But spoiler warning for deep into Campaign 1. So if you don't want to know, keep scrolling. So in my last video, we went over why Gwendolyn derolo is a tiefling. And I mentioned that it's because of a pact Percy signed. So what was that pact? So like I mentioned in my last video, Percy signs a contract with Ipkesh. Now, how did this come about and why? So Vox Machina was actually in the Nine Hells, specifically the city of Dis, because they had come to travel here to deal with a Rakshasa that was actually imprisoned in the city of Dis in like an Alcatraz-esque type prison there. So Vox Machina needed to somehow infiltrate this prison and kill this Rakshasa once and for all. Now, easier said than done. That's where Ipkesh comes in. He offered to facilitate them getting into the prison and basically getting the chance to assassinate the Rakshasa. In return, Ipkesh wanted Vox Machina to also kill Udagosh, who was basically his superior, so that Ipkesh himself could rise in the ranks. So here we have the actual contract that Matt produced at the table that he obviously designed and created. Now I'm going to go over the gist of this for you guys, but for anybody that wants to pause and read it, there you go. Okay, so essentially what this outlines are two roles. We have the role of the scribe, which is Ipkesh, he wrote the contract, and the role of the recipient, in this case, Percy. And basically what this says is both people are bound to the laws of this contract, and if either of them are to not fulfill their end of the bargain, what penalties there would be. In Ipkesh's case, he would have to pay Vox Machina 15,000 gold. In Percy's case, he forfeits his eternal soul upon death to Ipkesh to do with as he pleases. In addition to those rules, the actual pacts themselves are set out. And I say pacts plural because there are in fact 3. Now, only the first pact is the one that I described already in this video, with Vox Machina trying to get safe passage to the Rakshasa. Ipkesh added 2 additional pacts that are just there if you want them to be. Percy can agree to them at any point, but he is not currently agreeing to them in this contract. So they're just like little optional benefits that Percy can at any point in time say, I agree to the second pact. So let's go over the 3 in more depth now. So here's the first, like I said, and it says, the scribe Ipkesh agrees to enable safe passage into the depths of Mentiri, which is the prison, specifically the Bastion of Flesh, unharmed. The recipient, it's left blank, but Percy, agrees to be the instrument of assassination leading to the death of Udagosh, the herald of vassalage, without the revealing or leaving of evidence that could connect or incriminate the scribe in the act or reasons for the act. So then we have the 2 optional pacts, and I'm going to go over these briefly, but again, if you want to pause and read for yourself, there you go. So essentially, the second pact gives Percy the ability to get a squad of devils at his command to command in combat and do with as he pleases for 1 month. But in return for this, he has to agree to basically construct 2 temples of Ipkesh's choice. So, 2 temples dedicated to the divine worship of devils, demons, and fiends, essentially. And Ipkesh gets to decide who, and these cannot be like messed with or interfered with after the fact that they are built, or else it'll be a violation of the contract. Then the third pact is about imparting this like ancient knowledge and power to Percy. It's not explicitly explained mechanically what this would do, but essentially Percy would be able to do damage and heal with this divine demonic power that he would be bestowed. But in return, he has to forfeit his immortal soul to Ipkesh upon his death, which is normally the punishment for breaking the contract. But for this one, he has to agree to that just to receive this power. Now, Percy and Ipkesh did negotiate a few amendments that aren't reflected in that contract, but they're pretty simple. What they are is Percy also got them guided safe passage in the prison, so they had like an actual guide that was going to help them, and also made it clear that their equipment would be returned to them in the prison, because in order to get the safe passage, they essentially get arrested and thrown in the prison, and so they're stripped of all their equipment. So part of the contract is their equipment will be returned to them. And then the other amendment that is made is Percy stipulates that if he specifically were to die while they are trying to complete the contract, but the contract does get completed ultimately, that his soul is not forfeit. Only if they fail completely would his soul be forfeit. And these amendments are agreed upon by Ipkesh, and they go through with it. Percy signs it. The first pact is invoked. The second and third pacts are actually not invoked in the campaign, although there are a couple moments where Percy is really considering it. And again, that is why we ultimately have Gwendolyn derolo, who is a tiefling. Now, again, there was no mention of like part of your bloodline will become a tiefling in the pact, because that's not how it works. It's not about explicitly signing over that to Ipkesh. It's just the fact that if you make a pact at all with demons, devils, fiends, you know, this is just a side effect of it. And why we have cute little Gwen. So yeah, let me know in the comments if there's anything else you guys like want to see explained or anything like this.